I believe in the fact that as the internet community, as society as a whole, that the 3 billion plus people who use internet and the other 4 billion people in the world who still have to be connected on the internet, and all the things that will be connected on the internet, the 20 to 40 billion things that will be connected on the internet. Governance is one of the most fundamental pillars of foundation for the future that we are talking about. So I was very excited to be asked to get involved in this process. I think it's a very good process to address the principles, to address global internet governance, and to address all matters that truly are critical for what we believe will be the future of society. For me, I draw lessons from what I saw in the South African environment. Early 93, 94, South Africa was in a process to negotiate a new constitution. And there were a lot of things happening in our country, but the focus was to create a new constitution that will benefit everybody. And the focus was to develop that constitution. We did not try and go too much into the past. Yes, the past was recognized and understood by people, but the focus was, at the time, South Africa must have a constitution that would be built democratically, a constitution that will benefit everybody, a constitution that will look at human rights. So lessons from that process are the ones that I've shared with my colleagues to say that we need to come up, we need to look at NETmundial as part of the journey that is, leading towards developing a multi-stakeholder model that will be the best model to govern the internet on a global basis. I see NETmundial not as a destination, but as part of the journey that the international community is almost involved in building, this future of collaboration and working together in as far as internet governance is concerned. The electronic commerce is all now almost dependent on the internet. The emergence of social media, today also has almost put internet to a totally different level than what it was 10, 15 years ago. So all these things are making the internet as a platform of interest. And also, we cannot run away from the fact that, there have been a lot of debates about, the internet, around issues of, the way people have been debating internet in the recent past, issues of privacy and human rights. Clearly, these issues are critical, but the most important thing, let's focus into the future. Let's build a future that will benefit all humanity. My approach has always been, rather than to dwell too much into the past, right? We all know the past, but it's for us to build that future that will benefit all human beings. The issues of the past will be solved in a multi-stakeholder model that will benefit everybody, rather than for us to be diving and almost dealing with issues of the past that we all understand, that we all know that have happened. That is why, in the spirit of the example I've made, what we did in South Africa in writing the new constitution, we almost were very focused while we recognized the things that happened before, but we were focused in building the future. This is the approach that I would like to share with as many people as possible, to say, let's build the future of the internet. Let's build the future that will benefit all the generations that are coming. This should be one part of the discussion. As I've said, the internet is much more complex than that. The issues of the internet are not only IANA issues, are not only ICANN issues. They're much bigger than that. I think, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is just but one part of the puzzle than the entire puzzle of more than 100 pieces, if I may use the metaphor, that we need to deal with. So there are so many other things. I do not think we should only focus on this. Yes, for me, I welcome the decision of the US. It's very good for the internet community, for society to look at this transition, but that's not the only issue. There are so many other things that we need to deal with as a community. The issues of universality in as far as the internet is concerned. There are those people who are not connected onto the internet today. That's still very, very important. How do we ensure that internet is affordable? Internet is almost everywhere in the world. How do we ensure that those young men and women and children who really would like to share and know information about what is happening in the world are connected onto the internet? That to me is as important as all other aspects of governance. So issues of human rights, issues that are related to, for instance, how multi-stakeholder model will function, how we will cooperate and coordinate as different constituencies and stakeholders from government, civil society, private sector. All these are things that will be dealt with. We cannot focus on one thing. And again, NETmundial is just 2 days. It is part of the journey. As I've said, it is not a destination. So let us use NETmundial to build this future that will benefit all society, rather than to focus on things that really will bog us down and we might not be able to achieve anything by looking at them. I'm not saying the past is there, we all know it, but we need to build the future. I think the most fundamental issue is to build some level of consensus amongst different stakeholders. That's really, and consensus would come in out of a lot of work. It is to almost understand certain basic principles and build a consensus around those principles. We must not expect to ban the ocean, not at all. We must find some level of sufficient consensus that will lead us to subsequent engagements so that we can continue with the journey of ensuring that the world community is consulting with each other, people are talking to each other in order to build this future that will benefit all generations that are coming. So for me, it is just to work towards building that level of consensus amongst all the stakeholders that will participate in Brazil, in NETmundial.